Did you know that Nazis were inspired by American gas chambers used on Mexicans at the U.S. border? The Bracero program brought over 4 million Mexican workers to the U.S.
The Second World War created a huge labor shortage at home. One way the government tried to deal with it was the Bracero program, which allowed American businesses to hire thousands of temporary guest workers from Mexico.
These workers were promised decent living conditions, fair wages, proper treatment. Instead, many faced exploitation, racism, and inhumane conditions, including withheld wages that were never returned to them. The selection process itself was degrading. According to the Los Angeles Times, braceros were inspected like livestock. Quote, "They squeezed their arms, the legs, they saw if their hands had callus. They opened their mouths and they chose the healthiest, youngest, and strongest, just like they did with the black slaves," said an activist fighting for unpaid bracero wages. Survivor Fausto Rios remembers the experience vividly. Quote, "I felt dehumanized, like an animal. One of the darkest aspects of this program was a forced delousing procedure at the border. Mexican workers were stripped naked in public and sprayed with toxic chemicals like gasoline, kerosene, pesticides, supposedly to prevent lice infestation."
Con mucha pena, ¿verdad? Que me daba a mí.
Ahí nos afocaron las máquinas para fumigarnos con polvo de avión, con insecticida.
This wasn't just humiliating, it was deadly. Many suffered long-term health effects, including respiratory diseases and infertility. And here's what history books don't tell us. The US has been using fumigation methods on Mexicans since 1917. The Nazi scientists later studied these procedures and used them as a model for their own gas chambers during the Holocaust. For men with lice, their head was shaved down to their skin. But for women, the process was even worse. Border agents soaked their hair in a flammable mix of vinegar and kerosene and forced them to sit with a towel over their head for 30 minutes, naked. If that wasn't horrific enough, reports surfaced that U.S. border officers secretly took nude photos of these women and shared them at bars around El Paso. In 1917, a Mexican woman had enough. 17-year-old Carmelita Torres, a maid who crossed the border daily for work, refused to undergo the humiliating delousing bath and convinced others to do the same. For 3 days, hundreds of women blocked the bridge in protest, throwing rocks and demanding dignity in what became known as the bath riots. The movement was crushed and forced fumigations continued. Carmelita Torres was arrested and never to be seen again. Some call her the Mexican Rosa Parks, but like so many who resist oppression, she was erased from history. Despite the abuse, Mexican workers kept fighting for their rights. Many braceros never returned home, instead building families and communities in the US. Their labor laid the foundation for modern agriculture, yet their contributions and the horror that they endured are rarely acknowledged. Sadly, the exploitation of Mexican laborers and immigrants continue to this day. Think critically and question everything.